Jizz'n'shitz, Chapter 1, a parody of Genesis. In the beginning, there was a big ball of matter that God shit out, and in trillionths of a second, it swole up to the size of the entire universe, then exploded. Now the earth was just a blob of steaming hot shit floating in the big empty void. God said, "Let there be light," and jizzed out a giant ball of hydrogen fusion from his design sack. God thought his load was pretty chill and let it shine. God called his jizz light and the void darkness. Evening came after he came, and morning he came some more, the first day. God took a piss and divided it with his number 2, and so it was. God blasted ass and divided the water under the fart with his steaming number 2. God called the fart heaven. In the evening he came, and morning he came some more. God said, "Let the piss under heaven come together under a single mass around my massive duke." And so it was. God called the shit earth and the mass of waters pee, and God saw that it was chill. God said, "Let my shit produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and fruit trees on earth growing on my dried-up shit." So it was. The earth produced vegetation and fruit trees growing on God's dried-up shit. God saw that and thought it was pretty chill. That evening he came, and that morning he came some more, the third day. God said, "Let there be light," in the fart of heaven, divide his nut into night and day. Let the light of my spunk in the fart of heaven shine on the earth, and so it was. God said, God made 2 great lights, the fat load he dropped during the day, and the smaller nut he jizzed out at night for the moon and stars. God sprayed his loads in the fart of heaven to shine upon earth, to govern the day and the night, and to divide light from darkness. God moved his shiny jizz to sun and moon. Evening he came, and morning he came, the 4th day. God said, "Let my piss be alive with a swarm of living creatures, and let birds flap around above my piss across the fart of heaven." And so it was. God created great pea monsters, and all the creatures that glide and teem in his piss in their own species, and winged birds in their own species. God saw that and thought it was pretty chill. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and fuck a lot, and fill the waters of my pee, and let the birds fuck on land." Evening he came, and morning he came some more, the 5th day. God said, "Let the earth shit out every kind of living creature in its own species, cattle, creeping things, and wild animals of all kinds." And so it was. God splashed out animals in their own species, and cattle in theirs, and every creature that crawls along the ground from his dick hole. God saw that and thought it was pretty chill. God said, "Let us make man in our own image, from monkeys evolving over the course of human history, and let them think they be masters of the fish of the sea, the birds of heaven, the cattle, and all the wild animals and all the creatures, because they're arrogant fucks destined to destroy the planet. God created man in the image of monkeys. In the image of God, he created male and female from his dick hole. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and bone. Fill the earth so you can fuck it up. Consider yourselves masters of the whole planet and then fuck it up. I don't care. I just came this place out of my dick hole and shit from my ass in a week. No big deal." And God thought that was pretty chill. God also said, "Look to you, I give all these seed-bearing plants everywhere on the surface of my dried-up shit that I jizzed out, and all the trees with seed-bearing fruit that came from my jizz for you to eat. So you, in essence, are eating my jizz. Lol. And to the wild animals, all the birds of heaven, and all the living creatures that creep along the ground, I give all the foliage of all the plants I jizzed out as their food, so they may eat my jizz. Lol. And so it was. God saw all he had made, and indeed thought it was very chill. Evening came, and morning came, the 6th day. This has been Jizz'n'shitz, Chapter 1. Jizz'n'shitz, Chapter 2. Thus, heaven and earth. Here, let's switch over to, hold on, next chapter. You can read along the actual ones on the screen. Thus, heaven and earth were all jizzed out in their array. On the 7th day, God had finished dropping all of those monster loads and needed to effing chill out. He rested on the 7th day to rejuvenate his loads. God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on that day he rested after all that divine jizz he came out everywhere. Such was the story of heaven and earth, as they were nutted out. At the time when Yahweh jizzed heaven and earth, Yahweh, I don't know. There was, as yet, no wild bush on the earth, nor had any wild plant yet sprung up, for Yahweh had not sent rain on the earth, nor were there any arrogant monkeys to fuck the place up yet. Instead, his piss flowed out from the ground and watered all the surface of his dried up shit. God shaped monkey from the soil of his shit and farted the breath of life into his mouth, and monkey coughed, then became a living monkey. God jizzed out a garden of Eden, which is the east, in the east, and there God put the monkey he shit out and farted on. From his shit, God grew a bunch of trees that looked good to eat, and the tree of life in the middle of the garden, which represented the knowledge of good and evil. A big stream of piss flowed from Eden to water the garden, and from it there it was divided to make 4 streams of piss. The first is named Pishon, and this piss winds all through the land of Havilah, where there is golden piss. The golden piss of this country is pure. Badium and cornelian stone are found there in my shit. The second river of piss is named the Gihon, and this winds through the land of the dankest Kush. The third river is named the Tigris, and it flows to the east of Ashir. The fourth river is Euphrates. Yahweh, God, took the monkey and shit him in the Garden of Eden to cultivate and take care of it until he eventually would fuck it up. Then Yahweh gave the monkey this command: "You are free to eat all of the trees in the garden and smoke all the kush you want. But the tree of knowledge of good and evil you are not to eat. For the day you eat of that, you are doomed to die. But you're obviously going to eat it anyway, especially since I talked it up so much and you're such a stupid fuck." God said, "It is not right that the monkey should be alone, that lonely fuck. I shall shit him out a helper." So Yahweh duked out a new duke, the same way he fashioned the wild animals and the birds of heaven. This duke he brought to monkey to see what he would call them. Each was to bear the name the monkey would give it. The monkey gave names to all the cattle, all the birds of heaven, and all the wild animals. But no helper suitable for the monkey to fuck was around for him. Then Yahweh, God, made the monkey fall into a deep sleep with a blast of divine wind from God's ass. And while monkey was asleep, rather than making a new monkey from scratch, God just yanked out one of his ribs to make another monkey. Yahweh, God, fashioned the rib he had taken from monkey into another monkey with a pussy and brought her to the monkey. And the monkey said, "This one at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh, for me to bone. She is to be called woman, because she was taken from man." This is why monkey leaves his father and mother and becomes attached to his wife to fuck. Now, both of them were naked, the monkey and his wife, but they felt no shame before each other because they had already got the fucking out of the way. This has been Jizzn'shitz, Chapter 2. Now, the serpent was the most cunning. Jizz'n'shitz, Chapter 3. Now, the serpent was the most cunning of all the animals that the Lord God had shit out, and apparently, unlike any other serpent in history of mankind, for some reason this serpent could talk. The serpent asked the woman, "Did God really tell you not to eat from any of the fucking trees in the stupid-ass garden, bitch?" The woman answered to the talking serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the fucking trees in the stupid-ass garden. It is only about the fucking fruit of the tree in the middle of the stupid-ass garden that God said, you shall not fucking eat it or even fucking touch it unless you really want to fucking die for fucking real, bitch." But the talking serpent said to the woman, "You certainly will not fucking die for real, you stupid fuck you. That motherfucker is bullshitting you, dead ass. No, God knows well that the moment you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like gods who know what is good and what is bad, and you'll start ruining the planet like he knows you would, but doesn't really care." The woman saw that the tree was good for food, pleasing to the eyes, and desirable for gaining wisdom. So she took some of its fruit and ate it, and she also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it, because they're assholes, destined to ruin the planet. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made loincloths for themselves, because they're stupid fucks who ate the fruit that God told them not to eat. When they heard the sound of the Lord God moving about in the garden at the breezy time of day, the man and the wife hid themselves from the Lord God among the trees of the garden, because they knew they had just fucked up and ate that fruit God told them not to eat. The Lord God then called to man and asked him, "Where the fuck are you, fuck?" He answered, "I heard you in the garden, but I was afraid, because I was naked. So I hid myself, and I ate the fruit, just how you told me not to." Then he asked, "Who told you that you were naked? You have eaten, then, from the tree of which I had forbidden you to eat, just like I thought you would." The man bullshitted. "The woman whom you put here with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, so I ate it. Blame her, not me." The Lord God then asked the woman, "Bitch, why did you do such a thing?" The woman bullshitted God. "The talking serpent tricked me into it, so I ate it. Blame the talking serpent, not me." Then the Lord God said to the talking serpent, "Because you have done this, you shall be banned from all the animals and from all the wild creatures. On your belly shall you crawl, and dirt shall you eat all the days of your life." I guess you used to be a walking serpent that could talk, and now are just some bottom-dwelling asshole. "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will strike at your head, while you strike at his heel, you stupid fucking serpent." To the woman he said, "I will intensify the pangs of childbearing. In pain shall you bring forth children. Yet your urge I will intensify. To the woman he said, "I will intensify the pangs of your childbirth. In pain shall you bring forth your children. Yet your urge shall be for your husband, and he shall be your master." And thus the patriarchy was born. To the man he said, "Because you listened to your wife, and ate from the tree which I had forbidden you to eat, cursed be the ground because of you. You shall be forced to listen to your wife for all eternity." Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to you. As you eat of the plants of the field, you did exactly what I thought you did, even though I told you not to. You stupid fucks. By the sweat of your face shall you get bread to eat, and fatten you up from the insulin shall fill thine pancreas, until you are returned to the ground from which you were taken, for you are dirt, and to dirt you shall return, you fucks. The man called his wife Eve, because she became the mother of all humanity, because incest totally wasn't a big deal for the first few dozen generations of brother-sister fuckers. For the man and his wife the Lord God made leather garments, with which he clothed them, because everybody looks better in leather. Then the Lord God said, "See, the man has become like one of us, knowing what is good and what is bad, and is forced to listen to his wife for all eternity. Therefore, he must not be allowed to put his hand to take fruit from the tree of life." And also, even though it was obvious that he would totally fuck up, the Lord God therefore banished him from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he had been taken. Adam felt like a total douche. When he expelled the man, he settled him east of the Garden of Eden, and he stationed the cherubim and the fire